Did you know that a man named Clive Campbell, who was born in 1955 in Kingston, Jamaica, is the father of hip-hop? Well, listen up. 'Cause I've got a story to tell. Kool Herc emigrated to the Bronx in 1967 when he was 12 years old. While attending Alfred E. Smith High School, he spent a lot of time in the weight room. That fact, coupled with his height, spurred the other kids to call him Hercules. His first DJ gig was as his sister's birthday party. It was the start of an industry. 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. The address of Herc's family and the location of the recreation room where he would throw many of his first parties as the DJ. Herc became aware that although he knew which records would keep the crowd moving, he was more interested in the break section of the song. At this point in a song, the vocals would stop and the beat would just ride for a short period. His desire to capture this moment for a longer period of time would be a very important one for hip-hop. Herc would purchase 2 copies of the same record and play them on separate turntables next to each other. He would play the breakbeat on one record, then throw it over to the other turntable and play the same part. Doing this over and over, he could rock any house in New York. He would dig in crates and look everywhere to find the perfect breakbeat for his parties. He didn't care what type of music, because he only needed a small section of a song for his purposes. His fame grew. In addition to his breakbeats, Herc also became known as the man with the loudest system around. When he decided to hold a party in one of the parks, it was a crazy event. And a loud one. At this time, Africa Bambaataa and other competing DJs began trying to take Herc's crown. Jazzy J of the Zulu Nation recalls one interesting meeting between Herc and Bam. Herc was late setting up and Bam continued to play longer than he should have. Once Herc was set up, he got on the microphone and said, "Bambaataa, could you please turn your system down?" Bam's crew was pumped and told Bam not to do it. So Herc said louder, "Yo, Bambaataa, turn your system down, down, down." Bam's crew started cursing Herc until Herc put the full weight of his system up and said, "Bambaataa, bata, turn your system down." And you couldn't even hear Bam's set at all. The Zulu crew tried to turn up the juice, but it was no use. Everybody just looked at them like, "You should have listened to Kool Herc." Finally his fame peaked, and at last, in 1975, he began working at the Havelo in the Bronx. He helped coin the phrase b-boy and was recently quoted as saying he was the oldest living b-boy. As competing DJs looked to cut in on the action, Herc would soak the labels off his records so no one could steal his beats. After a while, spinning the records got to be an all-intensive thing, and Herc wouldn't have as much time to talk to the crowd and get them going. He needed someone else to help out and act as the master of ceremonies for him. And thus, for all practical purposes, Kool Herc became the first hip-hop MC ever. Another club that Herc rocked was the Sparkle, located at 174th and Jerome Avenue in the Bronx. This was the spot that came before the Hilltop, 371, DJ Hollywood's spot, and Disco Fever. In 1977, Herc's career began to cool down. The rise of Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, and Bambaataa's various crews with their polished MC styles put Herc at a disadvantage. One night he was stabbed 3 times at his own party and his career never fully recovered. He appeared as himself in the film Beat Street. Kool Herc played his last old school party in 1984. Most recently he has appeared on Terminator X's release, The Godfathers of Threat, and with the Chemical Brothers on their album, Dig Your Own Hole. Similar to Bambaataa, he does appear in Europe and New York from time to time. Although he is not part of the hip-hop vocabulary of most of those who listen to it these days, Kool Herc is the father of this underground sound from New York that found its way to becoming a worldwide phenomenon. Kool Herc will go on forever. In hip-hop history,